How would you respond if the one you cherished, the individual you envisioned, spending your life with, abruptly declared that her dependent sister would be moving in, and that you were expected to contribute to her support? That's precisely what unfolded in my life. One conversation, one ultimatum, and I found myself at a crossroads. Remain, suppress my pride, and support her sister, or turn my back on the life we had constructed over 4 years. I made the decision to depart, and that solitary choice? It became the most significant decision of my life. As I crafted a better, drama-free existence, she and her sister set fire to everything, ultimately discovering the harsh truth that choices carry weighty repercussions. If you've ever found yourself in a scenario where someone attempted to impose their chaos upon your existence, go ahead and hit that like button, subscribe, and share this video. Believe me, you'll want to stay tuned. The forthcoming chapter of this tale will surely leave you thankful that I chose to step back. For all my certainty that leaving would mark the conclusion of the turmoil, I remained blissfully unaware of the depths to which events would plunge and the intricate ways in which karma would weave its tapestry, revealing outcomes beyond my wildest dreams. She declared, "My indolent sister is coming to stay with us, and you will assist in supporting her." I declared, "Then I shall be moving out." With my bags carefully stowed, I set forth on my journey. The rent bill, now entirely in her name, sent her into a spiral of panic. 3 days ago, I, a 29-year-old male, departed from the Brooklyn apartment I once shared with my girlfriend, Emily, who is 27. We have shared 4 years together, with 2 of those spent under the same roof. I believed we were on the path to matrimony. It appears we were on a trajectory toward remarkably divergent destinies. On Tuesday night, I return home from work. Emily lounges on the couch, a peculiar smile gracing her lips. Have you ever noticed that smile people wear just before they spring something on you, expecting you to accept it without question? Chloe finds herself in a difficult situation as she begins her journey. Chloe, the sister who is 24 years old. As I begin to unpack my work bag, my mind drifts, not yet fully engaged in the task at hand. Once more, she found herself without a job. This marks the 6th job I've held in just 2 years. Chloe exhibits a distinct pattern, secures a position, performs adequately for a month, then begins to miss days, arrive tardy, and ultimately neglects responsibilities. Is dismissed from their position, wash, and repeat. That's unfortunate, I remark. For what other words could one possibly choose? I informed her that she was welcome to join us in our home. I halt, pivoting to face the other direction. What did you tell her? Assistance is essential. After all, she is family. Our abode is a 1-bedroom apartment nestled in Brooklyn, Emily. She may find solace on the couch until she regains her footing. Chloe remains unable to regain her footing. She alights upon the feet of others and remains there. She resided with her parents until they unexpectedly relocated to a more modest dwelling, withholding the new address from her until they had fully settled in. For what duration? I inquire. Only a handful of months. You will provide her with support until she secures employment. It is not about us, nor is it about your ability. It is simply about what you will do. Indeed, I am not. I must clarify that I am not in a position to support your sister. Should she decide to move in, I will follow suit. Emily bursts into laughter, genuine laughter. I can't believe you're actually saying that. Utterly sincere. You didn't inquire. You informed me about your decision to bring another adult into our 1-bedroom apartment in Brooklyn, a grown individual devoid of employment and lacking any desire to seek one out. She is making an effort. Identify a position she has held for over 3 months. Stillness. She's moving in this weekend, Emily declares, as if that settles everything. This weekend, I shall be moving out. Where might one even venture? My friend Ryan has been on the hunt for a roommate. His residence is, in fact, a 2-bedroom dwelling. Envision that. She remained unconvinced by my words. I was repeatedly told that I was being overly dramatic and that I would eventually calm down. Even as I began to pack on Wednesday, she remained convinced that I was merely putting on a show. On Thursday morning, I carefully packed my belongings into my car. Everything, all that I had acquired, all that belonged to me. The television, the coffee maker, the respectable pots and pans, the router, and yes, even the shower curtain, all items I have purchased. Emily returns to her Brooklyn apartment on Thursday evening, where the space feels only partially filled. What on earth? Where's the television? I gathered my belongings. The items we possess. Absolutely not. My belongings. Examine the receipts. Everything is in my email. In that moment, realization washed over her, truly struck her. The lease, you see, is solely in her name. Upon our cohabitation, she was adamant about having her name solely on the lease, believing it would enhance her credit standing. That was perfectly acceptable to me back then. Reduced responsibility. I have just sent her my portion of the rent through Venmo each month. It's impossible for you to abandon me with the entire rent burden. A decision regarding our living situation was made unilaterally by you. I crafted one regarding my own. The monthly cost amounts to $2,100. That expense is beyond my means on my own. It's fortunate that Chloe will be present to lend a hand. Her expression spoke volumes. She was fully aware, just as I was, that Chloe wouldn't part with a single penny. This is utterly unbelievable. Is this truly the reason you're choosing to end our relationship? The moment you chose to have your sister move in without a word to me, you sealed our fate. That night, I took my leave. I spent the night at Ryan's place. As of Friday, the Brooklyn apartment became my own. His former roommate had vacated the premises, allowing me to assume his share of the lease without delay. On a Friday afternoon, the narrative began to unfold. I kindly ask for your return. We can discuss this further. Your demands are quite unreasonable. Chloe has yet to arrive. What am I to do about paying rent? I chose to remain silent. She has chosen her path. I crafted my own. On Saturday, it seems that Chloe made her entrance, carrying 3 suitcases, devoid of employment and funds. Yet, a multitude of expectations looms. It was at that moment that the intrigue began to unfold. Revision 1. The level of entitlement is astonishing, my friends. I always understood that Chloe was quite the character, but this situation has reached an entirely new dimension. Ryan has truly been a gem, allowing me to stay with him as I find my footing. His abode is quite charming, a residence featuring 2 inviting bedrooms, 2 well-appointed bathrooms, and the convenience of in-unit laundry facilities. And here's the kicker. It's $300 cheaper each month compared to what I was shelling out at Emily's place. My portion now amounts to $900, a reduction from the $1,050 I previously contributed. Ryan is laid back, takes care of his mess, and holds down a job. Intriguing idea. Allow me to share the recent happenings at the old place. On Sunday night, Emily reached out to me, her voice trembling with tears. Not tears of sorrow, but tears of rage. Chloe consumed every last morsel of the food. Understood? She arrived just yesterday and has already consumed an entire week's supply of food. When I inquired about replacing them, she responded that she lacked the funds. It appears to be an issue with a roommate. This is a consequence of your actions. In what way is it my responsibility that your sister is consuming my food? If you were still present, and I were still in that place, she would undoubtedly be enjoying my meals as well. Pass the card. Yet, there is more to come. On Monday, I received a message from Linda, Emily's mother. Linda, your actions towards Emily are truly reprehensible. She chose her sister over our relationship, a decision that felt like a heavy weight on my heart. I honored her decision. Family is paramount. Family is paramount. In that case, her family can cover her rent. It's clear that such an expense is beyond our means. I cannot either. I decided to secure my own space for that very reason. There was nothing but silence following that moment. On Tuesday, Emily sends me a screenshot of her bank balance. $342. The time has come. Rent will be due in 3 weeks. I require your assistance with my rent for this month. No, I will repay you. From where shall the funds arise? I shall find a way to unravel this mystery. As Chloe unraveled the intricacies of her last 6 jobs, she attempted to label me as selfish, heartless, and every other derogatory term imaginable. I continued to decline every request for financial assistance. It was on a Wednesday that Chloe made the decision to reach out. A girl with whom I've exchanged perhaps 10 words over the span of 4 years now finds herself in need of a conversation. Your behavior in this situation reflects a certain level of immaturity. I find myself outside of this circumstance. I distanced myself from it. Nat claims that you appropriated items that were shared between the two of you. I retrieved items for which I had already settled the payment. Significant distinction. Indeed, certain elements of that would be immensely beneficial to us at this moment. Similar to the television, a sale is currently underway at Best Buy. Funds are insufficient for a television, then secure employment. I am making an effort. The current job market feels insurmountable. Ryan's company is currently seeking new hires. Would you like me to share the link with you? What type of employment? Assistance for customers, $18 along with benefits. Engaging with individuals throughout the day? Thank you, but I must decline. And there it stands. The job market is not impossible. I find myself reluctant to engage in work. On Thursday, the situation intensified. Emily arrived at Ryan's residence. Ryan opened the door. Mythic, I expressed my disinterest in conversation and requested her to depart. She began to raise her voice, insisting that I was in her debt. Our journey spanned 4 years together. How I cannot simply forsake her. Ryan, bless his heart, simply remarked, "Ma'am, you opted for your sister over him. The decisions we make inevitably shape our paths. I kindly ask you to depart before I involve the authorities." She departed, but not without hurling accusations that I was a coward for failing to confront her directly. On Friday morning, I received a call from my former landlord. Emily had reached out to him, seeking to reinstate my name on the lease, thereby ensuring I would be legally bound to contribute half of the rent. The landlord informed her that such an understanding of leases was misguided. One cannot simply include an individual who no longer resides in that place. He conveyed to her that should she be unable to pay the rent, he would initiate eviction proceedings. There shall be no exceptions. In a moment of sheer panic, she inquired whether it was possible to terminate the lease. Certainly, for a fee of $4,200. 2 months' rent. She lacks $4,200. She lacks the sum of $420. The most delightful aspect? Chloe, ever the compassionate spirit, has been sharing her experiences regarding her mental health journey and the time she's dedicating to healing at her sister's home. Accompanied by images of her sprawled on the couch, my old couch, a relic purchased by Emily, she indulges in Netflix on Emily's laptop, savoring takeout. Emily remarked on one, "It must be quite pleasant. I'm putting in double shifts to make ends meet for my rent." Chloe removed the comment and shared her thoughts on the toxic individuals attempting to overshadow her brilliance. Here I am, nestled in my new room, a space more expansive than my previous one, all while spending less and sharing it with a roommate who genuinely pulls their weight. It leaves me pondering how I endured Emily's family drama for such an extended period. The rent is due in a fortnight. Let us observe how this unfolds. Revision 2. The rent was due yesterday. Beware. The outcome was far from favorable. Before we dive in, allow me to bring you up to speed on what transpired leading up to this moment. The sense of entitlement has soared to unprecedented levels. Thus, Emily explored every possible avenue. Her application for a payday loan was met with denial, attributed to a lack of sufficient income. Her attempt to secure a credit card was thwarted, the denial stemming from her existing debt. She even created a GoFundMe campaign titled, "Help a Young Woman Stay Housed After Abandonment," which garnered a total of $45, all contributed by her aunt. In the meantime, Chloe has been embracing life to the fullest. This knowledge comes from a message I received from Megan, a friend of Emily's. Megan stands out as one of the truly admirable ones. She consistently holds Chloe accountable for her missteps. "Megan, you really ought to be aware of what's unfolding over there." She shares with me glimpses captured from Chloe's private Instagram. A young woman is placing DoorDash orders twice daily, using Emily's credit card for her purchases. Beyond mere sustenance, there lies Starbucks, an array of smoothies and delightful snacks. Emily is putting in double shifts at the Midtown Dental Clinic, while Chloe is likely spending around $60 to $80 each day on delivery services. Yet, here lies the twist. Chloe has been inviting gentlemen to her place. Varied options. As Emily toils away at her job, the neighbors have taken to voicing their grievances about the disturbances that permeate the day: music, chatter, and various other sounds echoing through the air. Megan, Emily, remains unaware. She is far too weary to realize that Chloe has been diligently washing the sheets each day. As Emily struggles to make ends meet, her sister effortlessly entertains a constant stream of Tinder dates in their Brooklyn apartment. Just 3 days remained until the rent was due. In a final, frantic attempt, Emily took her last shot. She reached out to my mother. My mother reached out, her voice tinged with uncertainty. "Darling, could you explain why your former girlfriend is reaching out to me for $2,000? She finds herself lacking the funds for rent. What makes it your concern? It is not. That is the reason I chose to leave." "Very well. I shall advise her to take a hike." The audacity of that girl. Yet, Emily's journey was far from over. She reached out to my brother, my closest companion from college, and even my employer. Fortunately, my boss just ended the call with her. Then Thursday arrived. Chloe has finally secured a job. Care to take a guess as to where? If you surmise that she found herself without a job, you are indeed correct. She informed Emily that she had secured a position at a boutique. She even departed from the Brooklyn apartment, donning elegant attire each day for 3 consecutive days. It appears she was merely visiting the mall, enjoying some leisure time, and returning just as Emily arrived home. Megan spotted her, ensconced in the food court, absorbed in her phone for what seemed like an eternity. Emily discovered the news when she reached out to the boutique, hoping to surprise Chloe with lunch on her inaugural day. She was a name unknown to them. The battle unfolded with an undeniable grandeur. Megan caught the sound wafting up from her Brooklyn apartment, 2 floors below. At long last, Emily found her courage and confronted Chloe, insisting that she either step up and contribute or pack her bags and go. What did Chloe say? "You cannot expel me from this place. I possess rights as a tenant." It has been 2 weeks since my arrival. She searched for tenant law and all related information. Misstep. Emily reached out to their parents, informing them that Chloe had a mere 24 hours to vacate, or she would be compelled to report her for credit card fraud. Every little bit from DoorDash accumulates. After a long journey of 3 hours, her parents arrived to take her home. The father was evidently enraged, not at Emily, at Chloe's. It appears they were under the impression that she had secured employment prior to moving in with Emily. Chloe had been sharing with everyone that she was embarking on a new journey as a marketing coordinator. Yet, this is where the true excitement begins. Yesterday marked the beginning. The day of reckoning for rent has arrived. Emily successfully gathered $1,400 by combining her paycheck with the sale of some jewelry. She finds herself $700 short. She sends me a message. "I possess the majority of it. Could you possibly cover the amount of $700? Kindly, I shall return the favor next month." Negative. I have parted ways with Chloe. Well done. This is utterly heartless. After 4 years of shared moments, you discarded it all for someone who feigned employment to deceive you. I was unaware of her deception. You were aware of her unemployment status when you extended the invitation. You were well aware of her history of achievements. This was your choice. A pay or quit notice has already been posted by the landlord. She faces a ticking clock, with just 3 days to gather the funds, lest the eviction process begins its relentless march forward. However, the story doesn't end here. Do you recall the fellows that Chloe was inviting over? A gift was bestowed upon her by one of them. It appears that the culprit was none other than bedbugs. Indeed, infestations of bedbugs. The management of the building became aware of the issue when neighbors voiced their concerns about the presence of bugs. The entire floor requires treatment. What is the cost to the source? $1,500. Emily finds herself $700 short on rent, grappling with $1,500 in pest control fees. Her credit cards are stretched to their limits from Chloe's DoorDash indulgence. and an eviction notice hangs ominously on her door. Last night, she reached out to me with a voice message, her tears evident in her trembling words. This time, tears do not stem from anger. Overcome, tears fell. She expressed that her sole intention was to assist her sister, never imagining it would culminate in such a way. For precisely 3 fleeting seconds, a pang of guilt washed over me. Then I recalled her words, stating that you would assist in supporting her, not inquiring, revealing. This weekend, Ryan and I will be hosting a housewarming party. I shared a glimpse of my new television on my Snapchat story. 65 inches, ultra-high definition. Secured an exceptional bargain. Trivial? Perhaps. Is it satisfying? Indeed. This morning, I received a text from Megan. Emily is returning to her parents' home. The Brooklyn apartment is facing eviction. Her credit is in ruins. Chloe has begun sharing her search for a new home, citing the toxicity of her family. After 4 years of shared moments, she discarded everything, refusing to engage in a single conversation with me prior to making such a significant choice. At 27, she finds herself returning home, her credit in shambles, while her sister has already moved on to ensnare another unsuspecting soul. Who? Me. I'm investing $900 each month for a more spacious room, an improved apartment in Brooklyn, a drama-free roommate, and the tranquility that comes with it, the most worthwhile $900 I've ever invested. Concluding update. This may very well be my final update, as the situation has unfolded in a manner that feels profoundly karmic. Emily faced eviction in an official capacity. It has been etched into her record now. She was unable to gather the funds for the rent or the fee for the bedbug treatment. The landlord initiated proceedings, and she made no effort to contest it. Merely gathered my belongings and departed. However, what I gleaned from Megan regarding the concluding days is quite revealing. Upon hearing the news of her impending eviction, Emily's parents offered her a place back at home. Yet, solely her. It is not Chloe. They had reached the end of their tolerance for Chloe's behavior. Linda, their mother, seemingly remarked, "We've already raised you both once. We're not doing it again." Chloe found herself in need of a fresh strategy. And oh, how brilliantly she devised one. Do you recall the fellows she was inviting over? One among them bore the name Marcus. He appeared to be a respectable individual with a solid career. Chloe persuaded him that she was fleeing an abusive environment and required shelter. He allowed her to take up residence. It endured for precisely 7 days. Upon returning home from work one day, he discovered that Chloe had taken the liberty of moving her friend Brianna in, without so much as a word of consultation. They lounged on his couch, both in a haze. Having ordered food with his credit card, she had committed the numbers to memory, while Brianna's boyfriend occupied the shower. Within the confines of Marcus's bedroom shower, without hesitation, Marcus expelled them all and promptly lodged a police report for credit card fraud. Chloe once more ventured into the realm of tenant rights. It appears that such a strategy falters when one has been present for fewer than 30 days and is engaged in deceitful practices. She's currently navigating a life of couch surfing, leaving a trail of burned bridges in her wake at an astonishing pace. Last I heard, she was attempting to persuade a guy she encountered on Discord to allow her to move in with him. In a different realm, Emily continues her work at the Midtown Dental Clinic, yet she has taken on a second job at Walmart to begin the process of rebuilding her savings. Residing in the room of her youth at the age of 27, her credit score plummeted by 150 points due to the eviction and maxed out cards. Years will pass before recovery is achieved. Last week, she sent me one final email. I'm neither seeking financial assistance nor attempting to rekindle our relationship. I am simply extending my apologies. It has come into focus for me. I understand now what everyone was trying to convey about Chloe. I understand now what you were shielding us from. I shattered our bond and my existence for a person who is solely concerned with her own interests. I harbor no illusions about receiving forgiveness. I wish to convey that I have come to an understanding now. I apologize for my failure to listen. I apologize for failing to honor you with the respect of a conversation. I apologize for all that has transpired. I chose not to reply. Silence prevails. Certain lessons must be learned through experience and adversity. What's the most amusing aspect? Their parents contacted me via Megan. They expressed their gratitude for my courage in taking the steps they should have taken long ago. It seems that my departure served as the much-needed awakening for everyone regarding Chloe. All of them have severed ties with her now. Linda remarked that we had devoted countless years to crafting excuses on her behalf. Your refusal to enable her opened our eyes to the fact that we were complicit in the issue. But wait, there's a twist in the tale. Do you recall the company that Ryan was looking to hire for? The customer service position that Chloe dismissed with disdain? I brought up the opening to a girl named Sarah at my Planet Fitness in Manhattan. She submitted her application, received an offer, and our conversations have been flowing ever since. She sends me memes about individuals with awful roommates, which is oddly therapeutic. We're savoring the moment, yet it's refreshing to share time with someone who seems to have their life in order. She possesses her own space, drives her own vehicle, and maintains a steady job. And to top it off, when she learned I was under the weather last week, she graciously brought me soup, without my prompting. In silence, without a hint of discontent, she arrived with soup and tissues, leaving them at my door, mindful of her own health yet eager to offer assistance. Fundamental human kindness. It appears that discovering what you truly seek becomes much simpler once you cease to settle for anything less. Ah, and what a delicious twist of fate it is. The apartment in Brooklyn that Emily and I called home. The property has found new tenants. A lovely older couple who both engage in their work from the comfort of their home. They are indeed capable of affording it, as, quite the novel idea, both of them contribute to the expenses. Megan recounted how Emily shed tears upon witnessing their arrival. I won't pretend that I don't feel a twinge of sympathy for Emily. 4 years stretch out like an eternity. And she wasn't inherently flawed. Rather, she faltered when it came to the ties that bound her to her family. Yet, she chose her path. She prioritized her sister above our relationship, favored enabling over partnership, and opted to make unilateral decisions regarding our shared life. Now, she finds herself navigating the aftermath of her choices, truly coexisting with them, in her parents' home, likely until she reaches the age of 30, considering the time it will require to restore her credit and savings. What about me? I am flourishing. An improved living situation, increased financial stability, a drama-free existence, and the promising beginnings of something meaningful with Sarah. It appears that when one is informed they are to assist someone they did not consent to support, the appropriate reply is simply to decline. The finest choice I ever made was to heed my instincts and step away. At times, the most effective form of retribution is not retribution in the traditional sense. Rather, it lies in the choice to abstain from engaging in another's misguided choices, allowing the natural course of events to unfold. Farewell, Reddit. Thank you for accompanying me on this peculiar adventure. Keep in mind, if anyone attempts to enlist your support for their slothful relative, simply walk away. It is truly that straightforward.